Let the cars go. Page 87. Six Dharma Gates to the Sublime, Kalavinka Buddhist Classics. One is able, in the space of but a single thought of the mind, to acquiesce in all phenomena karma occurring throughout the Dharma realm. Thus is that we may speak of the initial level of genuinely perfect realization of the gateway of following. One is able, in the space of but a single thought of the mind, to enter into 100,000 samadhis or even into all samadhis. One thereby halts and puts utterly to rest all falseness and residual karmic propensities. Thus is that we may speak of the initial level of genuinely perfect realization of the gateway of stabilization. One is able, in the space of but a single thought of the mind, to become entirely aware of the characteristics, features of all dharmas and to perfect all manner of contemplation related forms of wisdom. Thus it is that we may speak of the initial level of genuinely perfect realization of the gateway of contemplation. One is able, in the space of but a single thought of the mind, to penetrate and understand all dharmas to a degree whereby they become completely and utterly distinct and clear. One is also able to employ spiritual super-knowledge to turn back and employ in transformations to engage in subduing and in training beings. One turns back towards the origin and returns to the source. Thus is that we may speak of the initial level of genuine perfect realization of the gateway of turning. One is able, in the space of but a single thought of the mind, to perfect the works as described above and yet maintain a mind free of defilement or attachment. This is because one is not defiled or sullied by any dharma. One remains able to engage in purification of the Buddha lands while causing beings to enter the pure path of the three vehicles. Thus it is that we may speak of the initial level of genuinely perfect realization of the gate of purification. When the Bodhisattva at the point of initial resolve enters this gateway to Dharma, as declared in the sutras, he may also be referred to then as a Buddha. He has already realized that right wisdom prajna. He has heard the Dharma treasury of the Tathagatas. He manifests the genuine Dharma body. He perfectly embodies the foremost Surangama Samadhi. He clearly perceives the nature of Buddhahood. He abides in the great Nirvana. He enters into the lotus Samadhi, inconceivable, ineffable realm of realization of the singular reality. When this is extensively explained, it is made clear in the thorough adornment Avatansaka Sutra. This is the realization of the six gates to the Sublime, which is inconceivable, ineffable, genuine, precisely as it occurs at the level of the first ground, Bhumi. As for the intermediate level of genuine realization, the other 9 dwellings, the 10 conducts, the 10 transfers, the 10 grounds, the ground of equal enlightenment all qualify as subsumed within the intermediate level of that realization of the 6 gates to Sublime, which is inconceivable, ineffable, and genuine. What is that is meant by the ultimate level of perfect realization of the 6 gates to Sublime? The Bodhisattva at the later stage of the mind awakening enters into a gateway of the Cha syllable and realize the wisdom corresponding to unified mindfulness. Sublime enlightenment manifests before him. He achieves exhaustive illumination of the entire Dharma realm. He gained the most ultimate form of penetrative realization of these 6 sorts of Dharma gateway along with universally replete utilization of them free of any deficiency. It's precisely this which constitutes the ultimate perfection realization of the 6 gates to the Sublime. The analysis of the characteristics, features of realization linked to the Dharma gateways consists in counting, following, stabilization, contemplation, turning, purification, involve ideas which are not different than those described above. It is merely that there are specific distinctions associated with perfect ultimacy. Thus it's that the Necklace Sutra says, as for the patience-related practices engaged in by the 3 levels of worthiness and the 10 levels of Aryas, only the Buddhas that one person is able to reach all the way to their very source. The Lotus Sutra, it is only one Buddha together with another Buddha who is able to exhaustively describe the true character of Dharmas. This relates to the cultivation of the path set forth by the teachings. Statements of this sort base their discourse in the nominal reality. The perfectly penetrated understanding of the Dharma realm or the realization of Dharma gateways achieved by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. From start to finish, these are not 2 separate matters. Thus it is that the longer meditation Mahaprajnaparamita Sutra states, at the beginning it's the A syllable, at the end is the Cha syllable. There is ultimately no difference as regard their meanings. The Nirvana Sutra states, the narration of resolve and the ultimate realization, the 2 are not different. Of those 2 states of mind, the form mind state is more difficult to develop. The Floral Dormant Sutra says, beginning from the very first ground, there is complete embodiment of the meritorious qualities of all the grounds. The Lotus Sutra says, thus is that the origin and at the end point are ultimately equal. That's just one more reading. The end of this single classical text, the Six Dharma Gates, the Sublime. Enjoy life.